Yoda was one of the most powerful Jedi in the entire Order, but throughout the ages, other mighty Jedi Knights have come and gone, leaving their mark on the galaxy, and some of these masters are so powerful that they even surpass Yoda's feats. Who are they, and what made them so great? We'll answer those questions and more in today's edition of Underrated Moments. Number 1. Vodo Siask Bas. Vodo Siask Bas was already an ancient Jedi Master by the time he made his greatest impact on the Republic in the year 4000 BBY. Bas was a member of the mysterious Kravaki species. They hailed from the outer rim world of Krevis and rarely intermingled with the rest of the Republic. But as a unique insect-like humanoid, their anatomy made them particularly durable in battle. They were covered in thick exoskeleton, which acted like an impenetrable armor. And compared to humans, the Kravaki had usually long lifespans, often living for more than 100 years on average. This helped Master Vodo Siask Bas excel in his studies of Jedi lore and techniques, which he mastered thanks to many years of studying. During his time as a Jedi Master, Bas rightfully earned a reputation for being the greatest duelist in the Order. This led him to instruct lightsaber construction and fighting classes in one of the campuses on Dantooine. There he taught Exar Kun, who would become one of the most terrifying Sith Lords the galaxy had ever seen. In fact, it's thanks to his 2 duels against this former student that we know just how powerful Master Bas was. Once, when Kun was still just an apprentice, Bas dueled the boy in order to test his control of his emotions. During the duel, Kun was armed with 2 lightsabers, but Bas didn't even have one. Instead, he simply imbued his walking stick with the Force and used it to try and best his student. If Kun hadn't cheated, Bas would have likely won, but with the combined strength of both blades, Kun snapped Bas's staff, technically winning the duel. Later, when they rematched, Kun had become a proper Sith Lord, and one of the most powerful ones at that. He was able to project dark side energy in painful bolts from his arms and use his newfound skills to once again defeat Bas. When we compare this master with Yoda, it's easy to see just how similar they are. Both suffered losses to powerful Sith Lords, and both were renowned lightsaber duelists. While the 2 would likely never come to blows with each other, if they ever did, it's easy to see how Vodo Siask Bas might actually win. Number 2. Thone. Thone was a wise old Jedi Master who lived during the same era as Vodo Siask Bas, and if you took one look, you could easily see that he was one of the most unique-looking Jedi to have ever existed. Unlike most others, Thone wasn't a humanoid. He was a massive, gray-skinned creature who looked more like the Reek that fought in the dust-covered arena on Geonosis than a proper Jedi Knight. But looks, as always, are deceiving. Thone's physical appearance, much like his contemporary Master Bas, made him a much more intimidating opponent. Thone was a Warl from the unknown regions, and like other members of his species, he was over 2 meters tall and covered in thick armor-like skin that helped him endure both melee and blaster weapons. As a Jedi Master, Thone decided to live by himself on a distant world in the Stennis node. This wasn't any type of exile or a variation of the Barash vow, which many other Jedi would swear in order to purge their minds of dark side feelings. No, Thone simply wanted to devote his life to studying the living Force, just like Qui-Gon Jinn would millennia later. While alone on his personal world, Thone discovered that the planet was teeming with dark side energy. Using his own mastery of the Force, Thone managed to purge the entire planet of the dark side, confining it to a single lake on the boundaries of his territory, so he could keep a watchful eye on it. And although you might think that Thone's 4-legged stance might make it hard for him to swing a lightsaber in combat, he was actually a Jedi weapon master in the Order. But just like the time Boga the Hutt tried to attack his apprentice, Thone often used blasts of supercharged Force shockwaves to defeat his opponents instead of a sword. Number 3. Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. By the time Luke Skywalker rose to Grandmaster, in Legends, he had mastered more of the Force than almost any other Jedi who had come before him. With the original records that Jocasta Nu kept hidden from Palpatine's purge, and later, the discovery of an entire chest of ancient texts and lightsabers on Ossus, Skywalker surpassed even Grandmaster Yoda in knowledge. While Yoda was known to use Force lightning in both newer tales and the ancient legends as Grandmaster, Luke Skywalker used his emerald green variation to save the Republic time and time again. When the Yuuzhan Vong invaded from the unknown regions, Skywalker and the rest of the Jedi were shocked to discover that the savage aliens were immune to the Force. Master Luke needed to use electric judgment to turn for his light side version of Sith lightning and his blazingly fast lightsaber skills to defeat them once and for all. Although Yoda was an extremely accomplished Jedi and studied the Force for 900 years, it's unlikely that he would ever be able to defeat Grandmaster Luke, no matter the scenario. Number 4. Mace Windu. Mace Windu was much younger than Master Yoda, and by all accounts, Windu was supposed to be far weaker than Yoda as well. Although when other Jedi would comment on Windu's abilities, they were often shocked at just how masterful he was. But in the context of Master Yoda, they only conceded that Windu's mastery of Vaapad, a version of lightsaber dueling that used an opponent's darkness against them, would make Windu a better duelist against Sith, not a direct duel with Yoda himself. At least that's what they used to say. But in later years, as the Clone Wars drew to a close, perception of Windu began to change, and in the final moments of his life, as he dueled against Chancellor Palpatine, Windu proved something. He could kill the most powerful Sith Lord in the galaxy. Sure, it was due to his mastery of Vaapad. The technique basically allowed Windu to use Palpatine's own rage and dark side against him. Against a light side master, especially one as pure as Yoda, Windu would have struggled to defeat him, even in later years when Yoda was ill in the swamps of Dagobah. But Jedi don't typically go around fighting each other to prove who's best. Their fighting records against dark side users are more than enough to prove that point. And in that very narrow field, in his ability to defeat Sith and other similar sects, Windu seemed more powerful than Yoda. Number 5. Naomi Sunrider. Naomi Sunrider was an ancient grandmaster of the Jedi Order and actually Thone's apprentice. After her husband was murdered by a Hutt's low-level enforcers, Sunrider fled to the distant world of Ambria. There, Thone pushed her to the limit. Unlike most other Jedi in training, Sunrider refused to use her lightsaber in combat or even respond to violence. It wasn't until Boga the Hutt took a barge full of mercenaries to the front door of Thone's home that Naomi was finally forced to engage in a fight. After that, Sunrider proved herself as a Jedi Knight in the Beast Wars, the Freedon Nod Uprising, and eventually defeated Exar Kun's apprentice in a fight. Using her mastery of the Force, she utilized an ancient technique that stripped the Sith Lord Ulic Qel-Droma of his Force powers. That, combined with her expertise in battle meditation, made her pound for pound one of the strongest Jedi of all time. She also happened to be one of the most unconventional, too. By the time she started training under Thone, she was already in her 20s and even had a daughter under her care. Now there you have it. Here are 5 Jedi that in their own way were more powerful than Grandmaster Yoda during his time in service to the Jedi Order. What do you think? Is there someone else you'd add to the list? Perhaps another Grandmaster like Satel Shan, who served during the rise of the Eternal Empire. Or perhaps an ancient Jedi from the world of Tython like Tem Mad Dog. Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for stopping by.